I know that I look like a literal clown right now, like a literal clown, but I'm in the middle of getting ready to go to work tonight, and I haven't done my nose contour, as you can tell, so like this is what my natural nose looks like. So I was like, why not film how I contour my nose? I would say this is kind of easy. I mean, at least in my opinion, it's really easy. Like, once I've figured out how I like to contour my nose, like once I figured that out, I became addicted. Like, it got to the point where, like, now I have an unhealthy obsession with seeing my nose, like, snatched to the gods. Hey, Luna, shh. Like, snatched to the gods. So, I'm just gonna quickly show you guys how I snatch my nose. The products that I'm going to be using, I can't decide. Like, the biggest factor as to giving, like, an illusion of a tiny, tiny nose. Like, as you can see, there's nothing wrong with my nose. I like my nose as it is sometimes. But ever since I started contouring it, I've been, like, obsessed with seeing it, like, small. So, yeah. So, I would never get, like, rhinoplasty or anything like that because I do like its natural shape. But, like, with makeup, all you got to do is just put it on. You can take it off at the end of the night. So the biggest thing for an illusion would be your highlight. So I always go between this MAC trio or this MAC trio. Today I did like a really dark, sultry style makeup. So I think I'm going to go with the more pinkier one based off like my blush and all that kind of stuff. So please don't mind like how my foundation looks compared to like my skin. My lighting's all funky. I don't have the best beauty guru lighting, but you know, we're gonna make it work. And then also I still have my bake on, which I will brush off in just a minute because I don't want to get Flashback Mary vibes of sitting too long. The only problem with like this filming setup I have going on is that now my lighting is all funky because I only have one light, like one light, and then I have my other lights, and it's not even. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off the bake because in this process of like when I go to do my nose, I have to like spray it with setting spray, and I don't want to have any bake still on my face. My eyelashes are still drying, as you can see. Like, that's why I still have glue. So while they're drying, I'm just going ahead and snatch my nose. So the products I'm going to be using, I'm going to use the new Jeffree Star concealer. I'm in the shade C14. I'm going to use, all of a sudden, I'm not prepared. Like, I literally just, spur of the moment, was like, I'm going to film how I do my nose. Oh, I'm going to use the Hoola Quickie Contour Stick. And then I'm also going to use my Fenty Beauty Bronzer in the shade, I cannot pronounce that, so as you will, you can pronounce it the way you wish. And then the brushes that I'm using is pretty simple. So for my nose, how I start it is I first start off with like the highlight shade. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my Jeffree Star concealer. I'm gonna wipe off as much product as possible because I don't want too much. And I'm just gonna, like, how I like my nose, I like my nose to be smaller, like skinnier, and more like this, like not like pig nose, but like more lifted. So to get that kind of illusion, now keep in mind, this is how it works for me. We all have different nose shapes, so if you try to copy exactly how I do my nose on you, it may not look the same because our noses are different, but you can kind of take the gist of what I'm trying to do on yours. So I'm just gonna take this, hopefully I can get the good angle with this. And I'm going to stop it right there. So, well, I'm going to bring it down a little more. Just a tiny bit now, more. Because then when I do this, you can already see like a weird illusion, kind of how my nose immediately looks more, like you're focusing right on the center of my nose. I already highlighted the top of my face and all that kind of stuff. Like, I hate how my makeup is looking on camera. Like, it does, remember what I said in all my past videos, to trust the process. In this case, please trust the process. I look like a clown, but once I put my setting spray, once I, you know, do the final touches, it'll look better. I'm just letting it set a little bit more because for some reason with the Jeffree Star concealer, it's a little bit more on the tackier side, so I like to give it a few more minutes to set a little bit before I move it. When I move this product on my nose, I use my fingers. Anywhere else, I would use a sponge. But if I use a sponge, it's going to, like, cause that sharp line that I did to do one of these. And then I don't like that. So I'm just going to take my finger, and I'm going to start pulling it upwards. This is so hard to do when showing it on camera. As you can see, I like to clean it up by taking the sides. So you see it on my hand. Just to make sure that it stays where I want it to. So you see how it got wide already automatically? And that's what I don't want. So what I do is I just take my fingers and I just and then I make sure to blend it out as best as possible once you get to up here. But once it's down here, I leave it kind of like this. So this is what it should look like, kind of, sort of. So then I'm gonna immediately go ahead and take I'm gonna take the highlighting powder from Jeffree Star. It's not really highlighting powder, it's setting powder, but I call it highlighting powder. And my shade is Topaz. It's more like a banana shade. It's not literally banana, like he already has a banana powder, but mine's in Topaz, but for me it looks like a banana powder. And I'm gonna just set it right where I just put that concealer. See, just like that. And then after this, I'm just gonna add a little color to my nose with the Fenty Beauty Bronzer. I'm just gonna put it on the sides. Because this is gonna give that shadow. It make it look like you have a smaller nose than what you naturally have. So I just go over it, and I leave it just like that. After that, I'm gonna take the contour stick and I'm just gonna go over literally what I just did. This is gonna give it more of a darker shadow. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I was blocking my nose. So I try to get as precise as possible with this part. So like you see, I have a little funky part there, but I'll fix that shortly. Now I'm going to take my sponge and I'm just going to blend it downward. It kind of gives an even darker shadow to your nose, if that makes sense. Okay, so to fix this little funkiness I have going on right here. Okay. So now I'm going to take that Fenty Beauty powder and set it all over that cream contour I just did. This is kind of making it more and more intense. Like, if you don't want it to be as intense as how I do it, you could have just stopped at the first step, which was the just putting the Fenty Beauty powder first, and then do my next step that I'm about to do, and you could leave it like that. But me being the extra person that I am, I wanted a little bit more. Like, I like to have like a little like doll-like nose. I'm just gonna add a little more setting powder. Now I'm going to switch setting powders to the Laura Mercier translucent powder because I don't want to bring too much light to the sides of my nose. And I'm gonna, like, this is how I snatch the nose. Like, this kind of, like, sharpens what you just did. So I'm gonna go around like this. I just, like, got inhaled with, like, powder all in my nose. Uh-oh. You see I got it in my lash. And then that's it. So now I just let it sit for however long I think I'm gonna need for it to, like, you know, really get in there and really, like, sharpen. So I guess while that does that, I'm gonna, like, fix this. So now I'm just gonna, it didn't sit for that long, but I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe it off now. Now, as you can see, it kind of just looks like it wiped off most of it. Really depends on, like, the lighting and stuff. Like, this lighting isn't the greatest for me. But I'm just going to take that same bronzer from before, and I'm just going to, like, I'm not going to be heavy-handed, but I'm just going to kind of add, like, shadows where it kind of, like, took away some of the dark that I had going on. And it kind of brings it back. All right, so now this is where it really makes your nose look actually snatched, like for real snatched. So I'm gonna take my highlighter, the shade that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna show you now because I gotta do this real fast. I'm gonna use this shade. As you can see, I love that shade. I'm gonna take, where did my brush go? Oh, here it is. I'm gonna take this brush from BH Cosmetics, number 11 brush. It's like a flat brush. And I'm gonna use this for the tip of my nose. Like, I'm gonna put it where my fake tip of my nose starts, which would be all the way up here. And then I'm gonna put some highlight, like, down the bridge of my nose. And that's gonna give the illusion of a lot tinier nose than you really have. So I'm gonna set my face first. I'm using the Morphe setting spray. I'm gonna take that highlight and I'm gonna put it right on the tip of my fake nose. And then I'm gonna put it down the bridge.
Mom, I wanted to wish. I wish.
And then that is what gives you the illusion of a fake nose. I wish my lighting was a little better because then it would make this look a whole lot, you know, actual, like the way that it actually looks. But we'll make it work. And then I'm gonna just put my highlighter where I normally would. Yes, I use a lot of highlighter. I'm just gonna wait for my face to semi dry. I wish I had that. I wish I had like a fan. I kind of like the one that James Charles has in his merch. You see how much smaller my nose immediately looks? Like, it looks more like a button nose. Like, imagine when I look up like this, because this is how I normally stand. I normally stand straight and I stand like this. And it automatically gives my nose a lot smaller of an like appearance. I love how my makeup on this side, because of this freaking lighting, makes me look like that Neapolitan ice cream. But yeah, there's really not much to it after that. That's literally all there is left. I will go ahead and fix, since my eyelash glue has dried for the most part, add some more eyeliner. It kind of darken where the glue was. Do I have? Oh, I do. So yeah, there was really not much to it. What really gives the illusion of a smaller nose is the highlight, because the light is going to capture where you put it. So like right now I made it put on the very tip of my fake nose. Like my real nose obviously stops here. The tip of it's like right here. But then I put it up here, so it makes it look like my nose is a lot lifted more than what it really is. So I really am addicted, especially when it comes out in pictures. So I like to be heavy-handed with my makeup sometimes, because most of the time my makeup I do is for photos, and if I do too light of product, it doesn't show up well in my photos, if that makes sense. So you know how like stage makeup is a lot heavier, and photo makeup for photo shoots is a lot heavier because it is a photograph as well. So yeah, I'm one of those girls who will wear that out. But if you guys enjoyed this tutorial, if it really did help, please leave a like, comment, share this with your friends, share it in makeup groups, share it wherever you need to. If you have people who, you know, want to get a snatched nose, want to get a tiny nose, want to figure out how to do that, if you just want to support me, it'd be great if you just leave a like and comment. It's free. It's free to subscribe. Yes, girl, because we all like free. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, afternoon, morning, because I don't know when I'm posting this as usual. And yeah, bye guys.